Yo guys, it's me Matrix here, coach of the Welsh Wailmers. Um, I am bringing you a Little Cup match for the Game Rooms Feisty Friends Draft League. Um, this week we were up against EmnEmms and the Brisbane Blazikens. Um, Unfortunately, due to the difference in time zones for us, as they are in Australia and I'm in the UK or Wales, we weren't able to play on the Wi-Fi cartridge. So instead, we just managed to fit a game in on Showdown. And I am bringing you this as more of a post game. The game's already been played, but I'll show the replays off here and just take through my thoughts on the turns as we see fit. I haven't actually gone over the game since I played it, so yeah. Um, I think it'll be really interesting. So let's get some tune. Let's get some background music on. Hopefully that's not overly loud and you can still hear me. So let's bring my mic up a little bit. And yeah, we'll have a look. So first up, we've got the matchup, which I don't always do the matchups, but I felt like with these videos going to be a little bit shorter than usual. It'd be nice to just go over it. And basically, we've got a stun mode, a very obvious stun mode from the Brisbane Blazikens with Vulpix and Bulbasaur. We've got the Solstice, which is a huge threat to my Trick Room mode, as Solstice has got such a high special attack stat of about 125, I believe it is, 120. I can just have a quick look in my doc here. Not sure if you guys are able to see this exactly because I've got it cut off, but that's my next matchup. The special attack of Solstice is 105, which is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, special attackers in Little Cup. So immediately I see this as a huge threat to what I've been running mostly, which is Skrelp. I think if I just 2 seconds. So yeah, when I was dealing with this team in prep, I had to figure out a way to not only negate the stun mode that they had, but also fight off this Solstice that they could bring. I was also aware that there's this Roly-Poly, which could be weakness policy steam engine with Squirtle to activate it. It could also be activated by Mach Punch Tyrogue. Silicobra, they've been using a lot with Scope Lens and just hitting things hard with Drill Run. It's actually one of the highest kill leaders of the season. I wasn't overly threatened by the Sizzlipede, but I knew that this was going to be immune to my Intimidates. And when I look at this team, I see quite a special offensive team. With the possibility that Roly-Poly could be physical and Tyrogue obviously could be guts. But Roly-Poly could also be special. Silicobra can crit through the Intimidate drops. Sizzlipede, it can ignore Intimidate drops. And Lilip, I can just see it as pure bulk with the Eviolite and maxing. It's been a real mainstay of their team, especially against a team like mine, where I've got again Skrelp and Poplio, two water types to redirect away from like the Vulpix and stuff. Vulpix, the Roly-Poly, and the Silicobra. So I feel like this Leap is probably the biggest threat to me. When I'm looking at this team, I also think that, well, Rowlet is the first thing I thought of when I looked at this. I thought, it can ignore the sleep powder from a Bulbasaur. It's able to hit max airstreams off, max overgrowths into his rock, ground, and water types, into her rock, ground, and water types. I can get max phantasms off onto the Solstice and lower the defenses of a team so that I can hit it harder with the following turn. And Rowlet's not the most bulky mon, nor is it the fastest, so I had to pair it with something a little bit fast, which is this Meowth. And we'll have a look at the team here. So this is the team I prepared. It was a Focus Sash Meowth, pretty standard. It's got Icy Wind, Fake Out, Parting Shot, and Dark Pulse. Now, what's really nice is that this Meowth, after a max Airstream, it's able to outspeed a Bulbasaur even in Sun. And it's faster than anything else on her team. So at one point I was going to run it Choice Scarfed, but then I kind of felt like, Sandshrew really does well against this team with Choice Scarf. So we decided, I decided to go for a Focus Sash Technician Meowth to get some extra damage on that Icy Wind and just go max special attack, Timid Nature. And this hits a lot of her team, but what I really liked is the flexibility that Rowlet and Meowth gave me to begin with. Like I could go for, I can live most attacks with a Assault Vest Rowlet. I can fake out the Squirtle something if it wants to go for a weakness policy move, breaking the weakness policy. I can fake out the Vulpix whilst going for an Airstream with the Rowlet, basically avoiding getting hit by a Fire type move. I do have to be aware of a Weather Ball from the Bulbasaur, but I feel like it's okay that I can take the max Flare from a Bulbasaur as long as I'm with Assault Vest, as long as I can get rid of the Vulpix. And then the idea is that once the Meowth is at +1, then I can Parting Shot out and bring in the Cloud9 Swablu, which, although Swablu isn't the most offensive mon in the world at like base 40 attack, it's got some nice moves such as Dual Wing Beat, Body Slam. It's got Haze to remove some stat buffs that they might bring with the Lileep, with Roly-Coly, with Max Oozes, and it's nice to be able to just set Tailwind as well. It's actually max special defense, because it actually just works out that a Careful Nature 252 special defense is more bulk to the special mons than what any of the physical, than what any health investment could have done. And the attack investment is just so that I can do some sort of damage. So yeah. We got Poplio here. It's more of a filler mon. It's got the Rindo Berry to survive hits from the Bulbasaur. Helping Hand to just help me deal more damage. Ice Beam, Hyper Voice to ignore the radar action from Storm Drain, so I can still at least hit the Vulpix or the Sizzlipede or the Silicobra or the Silicobra or the Roly-Coly, which is on the field at the same time as the Lileep. Although I do realise this would be boosting the Lileep, so this is why we're running Ice Beam as well. One of my favourite mons, Skrelp. I've got Scald and Sludge Bomb, super standard mon moves to have on it at this point. With Protect and Eviolite makes it really bulky. And Thunderbolt. The reason why I put Thunderbolt on it this week is just for this max lightning, so that I can put Electric Terrain down if I'm max to avoid being yawned or sleep powdered. And then we've got the Sandshrew, which has got Brick Break, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Rock Tomb. At one point I did have Safeguard on the Sandshrew over Rock Tomb, but I figured that most of the time, if I'm in front of a mon that's going to yawn, which is Squirtle, or Sleep Powder, which is Bulbasaur, they're going to just hit me with a super effective move anyway. And so I just swapped out for Rock Tomb because of this Sandshrew outspeeds everything other than Bulbasaur in stun. But it's nice as an end game, nice for an end game positioning to hopefully get some KOs at the end and surprise them with the speed that it will be running. It is running Adamant because I don't need to be much faster than that. And it's running Sandveil in case they bring Lileep and Max Rockfall into like my Rowlet or something, or Swablu, which is why there's the Charty Berry, and just so that I can basically have a chance of the moves missing. But yeah, well, we can get, let's have a look then. So might as well show the first match. Let's see if I can get this pulled up for me. Here we go. So this is game one. I'll put it slow so we can talk through the plays. Let's turn the music off. So I see that they bring a Silicobra, Tyru, Vulpix, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Roly-Poly, and instantly I know that this Roly-Poly is going to be weakness policy with Aqua Jet, Squirtle to proc it. I don't know if this is what's going to be led. I feel like that could be a strong lead. I feel like the Bulbasaur Vulpix could still be a strong lead, and most likely Silicobra is going to be coming in the back. So this is what happens. So Roly-Poly's led with Squirtle. Then we get the Rowlet leading with Meowth, and I bring the Choice Scarf Sandshrew in the back along with my Swablu so that I can help mitigate the weather. So turn 1, I max the Rowlet and go for the Fake Out into the Squirtle to try and stop the Aqua Jet's proc, and predicted this really well. They went for the Max Guard Protect. They then get the Aqua Jet off into the Steam Engine, and I'm going, ooh, Max Flare might not live. And funny enough, this is where I figured out that this Roly-Poly has to be a physical Roly-Poly, because with my Rowlet being especially offensive, even at +2, it shouldn't be doing, Max Flare should be doing only around 50% damage to my Assault Vest Rowlet. So if they had actually gone for a Max Rockfall here, then it would have KO'd the Rowlet straight off the bat without me being able to do anything. So we go for an Icy Wind with Hermes just to try and reduce the speed a little bit of the Squirtle, because a Max Overgrowth is guaranteed to KO here. They then bring out, I think it's Bulbasaur. Yeah, they bring out Bulbasaur. I decide to withdraw because I feel like it's going to go for a Sludge Bomb into me here. Bring out Athena to negate the weather, and go for an Icy Wind with Meowth, which does some really good damage here. It gets Bulbasaur down to 50%. And then, yeah, I predicted the Sludge Bomb. It was an unlucky crit into Athena, since it's fully specially bulky. It turned what could have been a 3-hit KO into a 2-hit KO. They go for the switch out of the Bulbasaur to preserve the Bulbasaur for the end game again. And bring out Squirtle, knowing that it will be taking an Icy Wind here. I do decent damage to the Silicobra. I get a Tailwind off with the Swablu, which was really good. This is where I learned that Swablu is actually still faster than the Silicobra. It's not running any speed. And the crit into me with a Drill Run, as I presumed, it was going to be Scope Lens. It's running a pretty standard set to what she's been running the entire time. So then I decided to swap out the Rowlet in case they wanted to go for a Drill Run again to try and, like, well, two things. One, take an Aqua Jet better, and two, the Drill Run to waste their turn so that my Swablu can at least do something here, like Body Slam the Squirtle. Goes for a Fake Out. I get the Body Slam onto the Squirtle and do get the Paralysis. However, the Poison Tail, again, another crit here, but it made no difference, that calc. So I'm looking at a little bit of a rough positioning here, as I know the Squirtle has got Aqua Jet. It is going to be able to take out one of these two mons here. So I've got to... However, I predict that they go for a Fake Out with a Squirtle, and instead just Fake Out. They just go for an Icy Wind here. Yeah, they go for a double Protect. So I went for the Icy Wind Leaf Blade because I did think that they were going to go for a Protect there. Or Knock Off even. So yeah. And then here I know that this is where I'm kicking myself, that I don't have a I didn't bring Shadow Sneak on the Rowlet to at least just chip down the Squirtle a little bit, or chip on the Silicobra, but it wasn't too big of a deal. Icy Wind picks up the KO on the Silicobra, lowers the speed of the Squirtle. The Squirtle's really slow, it's paralyzed. I just kind of hope that it gets the full power off at some point, because I now have to bring out Sandshrew. And it's here that I go, well, they're going to target the Meowth anyway with an Aqua Jet and KO. So I feel like my Scarf Sandshrew is positioned well enough here to just go just straight for the Earthquakes, stab Earthquake, should pick up the KO on the Bulbasaur, and then it should put me up into a better end game here against the Squirrel. And as you can see, I knew at this point that it had Protect, Aqua Jet, and Fake Out, and I'm thinking this, with it having leftovers, is a supportive Squirtle. And so I'm risking, I'm banking on the chance that it doesn't run a special War type move. So here's the Aqua Jet, as you saw. Gets the Earthquake, KOs the Bulbasaur, and it does about 34% to the Squirtle as a double up target. Single target Earthquakes from here on out do 48%, which is decent damage. And yeah, even with the second Aqua Jet, which was a max roll of 37% compared to its initial roll of 24%, it's the Sandshrews lives and was able to get the KO to win the game for the Wailmers 1-0. Super close game, and it was played really well by EmnEmms on the opposing side. Stopping me from being able to take that KO on the Squirtle, considering I had the Sandshrew in the back, was really difficult positioning for me. I felt like I managed to handle the modes a little bit okay, considering the opening was that weakness policy Roly-Coly. If they had gone for a max rock fall on that opening turn, I could have been in a bit of a dire situation with me losing my max on the first turn. So I did risk it a little bit, but it was all about gaining information this game one anyway, so it worked out for the bear. So we move on to game 2. And as you can see, I decided this time, I feel like they might mix the modes up a little bit, but if they don't and they do decide to go for the max rock fall because it will KO, I decide to lead Skrelp with the Meowth. They lead Vulpix Bulbasaur, so they switch their modes up a bit. I decide to go for a Fake Out to the Bulbasaur, just on the off chance that they don't max the Bulbasaur and go for a Sleep Powder. I don't want to be dealing with that straight away. So I go for the max Skrelp into Vulpix and max Geyser. They actually do max the Bulbasaur. Maxed Ooze into the Skrelp, and it's doing no damage. This is a Life Orb Bulbasaur, it's just nothing. This Skrelp is so bulky. Even that Burning Jealousy, nothing here. Get the max Geyser off. We learn that the Vulpix is Focus Dashed, and I do now outspeed. So the following turn, so I do now outspeed with the Meowth on the Bulbasaur. So I actually go for a Icy Wind, I think, here, and a max Ooze into the Bulbasaur. But they max guarded. They predicted that I'd target the Bulbasaur at this point, so I don't get that special attack boost that I like to get. The Guts activates. I predict that the Tyrogue is going to go for a for a Mach Punch into the Meowth to try and pick up that KO, and so I swap out into the Rowlet to take that, as it's a flying type. It takes a resisted damage from it, and I choose to go for a max Geyser into the Tyrogue slot in case she does switch in the Vulpix at some point to reset the sun for later on. It could have been the Tyrogue slot, it could have been the Bulbasaur slot. I wasn't too sure, but I did feel like this was a turn that they would swap the Vulpix in, so I felt like Max Geyser was safe. As you see, they swap in the Vulpix, they waste the last turn of Max, the Mach Punch does happen, and I get the Max Geyser off into the Tyrogue, and again reset this rain. And again, this is a point where I'm really regretting that I don't have Shadow Sneak on the Rowlet to just pick up this KO on the Vulpix. So they go for the Protect. I go for the Protect. I go for the Grassy Glide into the Silicobra. The Leaf Blade into the Silicobra, but they read that really well. And then they bring out the Bulbasaur. Same turn, I bring out the Swablu to negate the Sun. So luckily I did. The Flamethrower only does 43% then. They got the Leaf Blade, read well. Bring the Silicobra back out again. I decide to swap out to Skrelp to take this Flamethrower. and just pick up the KO on the Vulpix in this next turn after setting Tailwind, because it was a pretty safe turn to set. Now my Skrelp is actually 100 speed, so it's actually faster than their Bulbasaur, and tanking that Bulbasaur takes quite a chunk of damage from that Scald on the switching. From here, it's just a quick dual wing beat to the Bulbasaur and a nice Tailwind boosted speed into Silicobra for the Scald to take it out. So although the game was a 4-0 win, it was a lot close. It was very to and fro for a lot of it until towards the end, where I was able to just position my Mons well enough to navigate around their Sun mode. Preserving the Mons I felt was really important, like preserving the Meowth for the end game in case I needed to come in with a fake out later on after they'd already they'd already used their max. So I felt like a fake out in the back would be good. I felt Rowlet was good for the switch-ins into the Mach Punch. So although the game could have been a bit cleaner, I felt overall it went really well. I did like a lot of what EmnEmms brought against me. There was what we don't see is that there is a Weather Ball on the Bulbasaur and Sleep Powders, so I would think I was still right to go for that fake out on that first turn. The Roly-Coly was physical, and that really shut down what I wanted to do with my Rowlet, but also opened up what I wanted to do with Skrelp. As the leap never came, it really opened up the game for Skrelp to just max Geyser quite freely. As even though, as you saw, like Bulbasaur still took like 43% damage from a Scald, which is pretty good considering it's resisted. So yeah, this was the game. The two games. We go 4-0 in the Game Rooms Draft League, Little Cup Feisty Friends Edition, Hatenna Division. There's a lot of words. And I think we're the only 4-0 team at the moment in the Hatenna Division for Feisty Friends, which is really good, ending week 4. Next week we play the Stranger Danger and the Cellar Stealers, who have got another interesting. I haven't really looked at the matchup much. I think there's 2 electric types on their team, like Elekid and stuff. So we'll see. And I think that is all from me. Thanks for watching. Sorry this was a showdown match this week instead of it being a cartridge game, but sometimes things happen. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.